Do you feel like something is blocking your inner peace, but you can't quite identify what it is? There's a constant restlessness in your chest, a sense that you should be at peace, but you simply can't get there. In this video, you're going to discover the one thing that's truly preventing you from experiencing the deep peace your heart yearns for. And I'm going to show you, with Louise Hay's wisdom, how to remove this block once and for all. I understand this struggle, and you're not alone. We'll explore together transformative insights that will completely change your perspective. And there will be a special moment in the video where you can join a community of people who, just like you, are choosing peace and self-love. Get ready to discover truths that will liberate your heart. By the end of this video, you'll have not only clarity about what's blocking you, but also a powerful practical exercise to begin your healing journey today. Stay with me, and let's walk together toward the peace you deserve. Shall we begin now? Asterisk, asterisk, the invisible poison. Asterisk, asterisk, have you ever stopped to think about what's really stealing your peace? So often, we search for answers outside ourselves, blaming circumstances, people, or even fate. But the truth, that deep truth that Louise Hay taught us with such wisdom, is that the greatest obstacle to our inner peace isn't out there. It's right here inside, in the resentment we carry, and in the relentless criticism we direct at ourselves and others. These feelings are like heavy stones we carry in an invisible backpack, making each step harder, each breath more shallow. When we cling to resentment, we're actually drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. And constant criticism, it erodes our self-esteem like water dripping on a rock, slowly but with devastating effects. Louise Hay used to say that resentment is like taking poison and waiting for someone else to die. Think about that for a moment. When you hold a grudge against someone who's really suffering, the person who hurt you is probably living their life, while you remain trapped in a cycle of pain and bitterness. Resentment doesn't punish the other person, it imprisons you. It's a weight you carry alone, and it prevents the light of peace from entering your heart. Imagine a house filled with old, broken furniture. There's no room for anything new, anything beautiful. That's what a heart full of resentment is like. There's no space for love, joy, or peace. I release all resentment and allow peace to flow through me. Criticism, especially self-criticism, is equally destructive. How many times a day do you judge yourself? How many times do you look in the mirror and see only flaws? That cruel inner voice, which is never satisfied, which always finds something wrong, is one of the biggest blocks to inner peace. According to Louise Hay, when we criticize ourselves, we're rejecting the very essence of our being. We're telling the universe that we're not worthy of love and acceptance. And the universe, always generous, gives us exactly what we believe we deserve. If you believe you're not good enough, your reality will reflect that belief. Think of Sarah, a woman who always criticized herself for not being thin enough, smart enough, successful enough. She lived in a constant state of dissatisfaction, and her inner peace was non-existent. But here's the good news. You have the power to change this. You can choose to release resentment and silence the voice of criticism. It's not easy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it's absolutely possible. The first step is awareness. Observe your thoughts. When you catch yourself ruminating on something from the past or criticizing yourself, simply acknowledge it. Ah, there's the resentment, or there's the criticism again. Don't judge yourself for having these thoughts. Just observe them with gentleness. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. When you illuminate the darkness with the light of awareness, it begins to dissipate. I choose thoughts that support and uplift me. And then, you can begin to replace these old patterns with new ones. Instead of feeding resentment, you can choose compassion. Instead of criticizing yourself, you can choose to accept yourself. Louise Hay taught us that we are worthy of love and acceptance exactly as we are, in this moment. We don't need to be perfect to deserve peace. We don't need to wait until everything is resolved. Peace is available to us now, as soon as we choose to release what blocks us. Imagine what your life would be like if you woke up every day without the weight of resentment, without the cruel voice of criticism. Imagine the lightness, the freedom, the joy that would flow naturally. That's the life you deserve, and it begins with a simple choice: choosing love instead of fear, acceptance instead of criticism. And this journey, dear one, begins now, in this exact moment. Asterisk, asterisk, you create everything. Asterisk, asterisk, your thoughts are far more powerful than you imagine. They're not just words passing through your mind without consequence. Every thought you have is a seed you plant in the garden of your life, and these seeds grow and become your reality. Louise Hay dedicated her life to teaching us this fundamental truth. Our thoughts create our life experience. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and negativity, what do you think you'll harvest? More fear, more doubt, more negativity. But if you plant seeds of love, gratitude, and positivity, your life begins to flourish in ways you never imagined possible. This isn't just a beautiful theory. It's a universal law that works for everyone, all the time. According to Louise Hay, the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. Think about how you feel when you spend the whole day thinking about everything that's wrong, everything you don't have, everything that could go wrong. You feel heavy, anxious, exhausted. Now think about how you feel when you focus on what's right, what you have to be grateful for, the positive possibilities. The difference is palpable, isn't it? Your thoughts literally change your brain chemistry, your hormones, your energy. They affect your body, your emotions, and your actions. Consider Emily, a young woman who always thought, "I'll never make it. Nothing works out for me. I'm not capable." Her life reflected exactly those thoughts. Missed opportunities, failed relationships, a constant feeling of being stuck. I choose thoughts that create a life of peace and joy. But here's the secret that can change everything. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. You have the power to choose which thoughts you'll nurture and which you'll let pass. Imagine your mind as a radio. There are many stations broadcasting all the time. Some play sad, depressing songs. Others play joyful, inspiring songs. You can't control which stations exist, but you can absolutely choose which station you'll tune into. When a negative thought arises, you don't have to cling to it. You can simply acknowledge it and choose a different thought. Louise Hay taught us that we can train our mind just as we train our body. With practice and patience, we can become masters of our thoughts instead of slaves to them. The good news is that you can start changing your thought patterns right now. Begin by paying attention to the internal dialogue happening in your head. What kind of conversation do you have with yourself? Are you kind and encouraging, or harsh and critical? When you become aware of your thoughts, you gain the power to change them. Every time you catch a negative thought, stop and ask, is this thought serving me? Is it bringing me closer to the peace I seek, or pushing me away from it? If the answer is no, replace it with a more loving thought. For example, if you think I'm a failure, stop and say, I'm learning and growing every day. I'm worthy of success and happiness. At first, it may feel strange, even false, but over time, these new thoughts become natural. I am the creator of my reality through my thoughts. And here's something wonderful. The more you practice choosing positive and loving thoughts, the easier it becomes. Your brain begins to create new neural pathways, and these positive thoughts become your automatic default. You begin to see the world through a different lens, a lens of possibility and hope instead of limitation and fear. Your external life begins to reflect this internal change. Opportunities appear, relationships improve, you feel lighter and more alive. Louise Hay lived this transformation in her own life, healing herself from cancer through changing her thought patterns, and she showed us that we all have this same power within us. You're not at the mercy of circumstances. You are the creator of your experience. And it all begins with a single thought, a single choice to see things differently. If this message is touching your heart, if you're feeling something shifting inside you, I would love for you to join this community of transformation. Click subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any video that can illuminate your path. Leave a like if this insight resonated with you, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And tell me in the comments, what was the most powerful thought you had while watching up to this point? What touched your heart most in this reflection about the power of your thoughts? Let's create a wave of love and transformation together. Asterisk, asterisk, the forgotten key, asterisk, asterisk. If there's one truth that Louise Hay taught us with all the strength of her heart, it's this: self-love is the foundation of everything. Without it, you're building your life on quicksand. With it, you have a solid foundation upon which you can create anything you desire. Self-love isn't selfishness, it isn't vanity, it isn't arrogance. It's the deep and gentle recognition that you are worthy of love, care, and respect simply because you exist. You don't need to earn this love. You don't need to prove your worth. You're already valuable, exactly as you are in this moment. And when you truly embrace this truth, when you allow it to penetrate every cell of your body, everything changes. The inner peace you seek isn't somewhere distant. It's here, waiting for you to love yourself enough to receive it. Louise Hay used to say that when we truly love ourselves, everything in our life works. Think about that. When you love yourself, you make choices that honor your well-being. You don't accept relationships that diminish you. You don't remain in situations that drain your energy. You don't speak to yourself in cruel ways. Self-love is like a filter through which all your decisions pass. It protects you, guides you, nurtures you. Consider Jennifer, a woman who spent years sacrificing herself for everyone around her, believing that made her a good person. She was exhausted, resentful, and deeply unhappy. When she finally learned to love herself, she realized that taking care of herself wasn't selfishness, it was necessary. And when she began to prioritize herself, her life transformed. I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. But how do you cultivate self-love when you've spent your whole life criticizing yourself? How do you learn to embrace yourself when you were taught to reject yourself? The answer is gently, patiently, one day at a time. Self-love is a practice, not a destination. You begin where you are, with all your imperfection, with all your wounds, and you choose to be kind to yourself. You begin to speak to yourself as you would speak to a beloved child. You begin to treat your body with respect and gratitude. You begin to honor your needs and your boundaries. According to Louise Hay, one of the most powerful ways to cultivate self-love is through mirror work. Look yourself in the eyes and say, I love you. I really love you. At first, it may be uncomfortable, even painful, but continue, because you deserve to hear these words, especially from yourself. Self-love also means forgiving yourself. Have you made mistakes? Yes. Have you done things you regret? Probably. But that doesn't define you. You are not your mistakes. You are a human being in evolution, learning and growing. When you forgive yourself, You release the weight of guilt and shame that keeps you trapped in the past. You give yourself permission to begin again, to be different, to make better choices. Louise Hay taught us that the past is over and has no power over us unless we choose to give it that power. Every moment is a new opportunity to choose love instead of fear, acceptance instead of rejection. I forgive myself and release the past. I deserve love and happiness now. Imagine what your life would be like if you truly believed this. If you lived from this place of deep self-love. And here's the most beautiful part. When you love yourself, you naturally radiate that love to the world. You become a source of light and inspiration for others. You no longer need to seek external validation because you validate yourself. You no longer need others' approval because you approve of yourself. Your inner peace becomes unshakable because it comes from within, not from external circumstances. Louise Hay lived this truth and showed us the way. She taught us that self-love isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the remedy for almost every problem we face. So, dear one, I invite you to make this self-love your priority. Begin today. Begin now. Look yourself in the mirror and say those powerful words, I love you, and keep saying it until you believe it, until every cell in your body knows it's true, because it is. You are worthy of all the love in the universe, and it all begins with the love you give yourself. Asterisk, asterisk, free yourself now. Asterisk, asterisk, forgiveness is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. It's not about the other person. It's not about saying what happened was right or that the pain you felt wasn't real. Forgiveness is about you choosing to free yourself from the invisible chains that bind you to the past. It's about refusing to carry the weight of old hurts for the rest of your life. Louise Hay taught us that holding on to resentment is like being trapped in a prison where you yourself are the guard and you have the key in your hand. You can leave at any moment. You can choose freedom. But first, you need to understand that forgiving isn't forgetting. It isn't minimizing. It isn't allowing someone to hurt you again. Forgiving is simply deciding that you're no longer going to let that pain from the past control your present and your future. According to Louise Hay, when we refuse to forgive, we are the ones who suffer. The person who hurt us may be living their life peacefully, while we remain trapped in a cycle of anger, bitterness, and pain. Think about how unfair that is to you. You already suffered once when you were hurt. Why continue suffering every day by reliving that pain? Consider Michael, a man who held resentment toward his father for decades. He carried this anger like a shield, believing it protected him. But in reality, he was only poisoning his own life, affecting his relationships, his health, his peace. When he finally chose to forgive, not because his father deserved it, but because he deserved peace, it was as if an enormous weight was lifted from his shoulders. I release the past with love and choose peace. Forgiveness begins with willingness. You don't need to feel like forgiving. You don't need to be emotionally ready. You just need to be willing to consider the possibility. Louise Hay taught us that we can begin by saying, I am willing to forgive. This simple affirmation opens a door in your heart. It signals to the universe that you're ready for a change. And then, gently, day by day, you work on that willingness. You may not be able to forgive completely all at once, and that's okay. Forgiveness is a process, not a single event. Some wounds are deep and take time to heal. Be patient with yourself. Every small step toward forgiveness is a victory. Every time you choose to release a bit of the anger, you're moving closer to the freedom and peace your heart longs for. And here's something important. You also need to forgive yourself. Perhaps you've blamed yourself for not seeing the signs. Perhaps you judged yourself for having allowed something to happen. Perhaps you carry shame for your own past actions. Dear one, you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at that moment. You can't go back and change the past, but you can choose how you relate to it now. Louise Hay used to say that criticizing ourselves for the past doesn't change anything. It only keeps us trapped. Self-forgiveness is as crucial as forgiving others. When you forgive yourself, you give yourself permission to grow, to evolve, to be different. I forgive myself for not knowing what I didn't know before I learned it. I am worthy of compassion and love. Imagine what your life would be like without the weight of resentment. Imagine waking up in the morning without that heavy feeling in your chest, without those bitter thoughts that arise automatically. Imagine having space in your heart for joy, for love, for wonderful new experiences. That's what forgiveness offers you. It's a gift of freedom. Louise Hay showed us through her own life that forgiveness is possible, even in the most difficult circumstances. She forgave those who hurt her deeply, and in doing so, she healed herself and became a source of light for millions of people. You have this same power within you. You can choose to release the chains. You can choose peace. And when you make this choice, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the world, because a person at peace radiates that peace to everyone around them. Asterisk, asterisk, where your power lives. Asterisk, asterisk. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most empowering acts you can perform. I'm not talking about blaming yourself for everything that happened to you. I'm not saying you caused all the bad things you experienced. What I'm saying is that you have the power to choose how you respond to everything that happens in your life. Louise Hay taught us that as long as we blame others, circumstances, or fate, we're giving away our power. We're saying, I'm a victim and there's nothing I can do. But when we take responsibility, we're saying, I have the power to change my experience. I have the power to create something different. This shift in perspective is revolutionary. It transforms you from passenger to driver of your own life. And that's where true inner peace begins to flourish. According to Louise Hay, taking responsibility means recognizing that you are the only person who thinks in your mind. No one can force you to have certain thoughts or feelings. Yes, people can do things that trigger emotions in you, but how you process those emotions, what meaning you give them, what story you tell about them, that's your responsibility. Think of two people who go through the same difficult experience. One becomes bitter and closed off, the other becomes more compassionate and wise. The difference isn't in what happened, but in how each one chose to respond. Consider Rachel, a woman who went through a painful betrayal. She could have chosen to see herself as a victim forever, but instead, she took responsibility for her healing. She worked on herself, learned about her patterns, and emerged stronger and more aware. I take full responsibility for my life and my choices. Taking responsibility also means stopping waiting for other people to change so you can be happy. How many times have you thought, I would be happy if my partner changed, or I would have peace if my family understood me? When you place your happiness in other people's hands, you're becoming their hostage. Louise Hay taught us that our happiness and peace are our responsibility, no one else's. This doesn't mean you can't wish people were different or that you can't establish healthy boundaries. It means you don't wait for them to change to start living your life fully. You begin now, with things as they are, making choices that honor your well-being. You become the source of your own happiness instead of seeking it outside yourself. Here's something liberating. When you take responsibility, you also give yourself permission to make changes. If you're unhappy in a job, you can look for another one. If a relationship isn't serving you, you can have difficult conversations or make different choices. If you don't like how your life is, you can start changing it, one small step at a time. You're not stuck. You never were. You always had choices, even when it seemed you didn't. According to Louise Hay, even in situations where we can't change external circumstances, we can always change our internal attitude. We can always choose peace instead of resistance, acceptance instead of struggle. I have the power to create positive changes in my life. I choose to act with love and wisdom. And here's the most beautiful part. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop wasting energy, blaming, complaining, and wishing things were different. All that energy becomes available to create, to grow, to build the life you truly desire. You become proactive instead of reactive. You become creator instead of victim. Louise Hay lived this truth and showed us that no matter where you come from or what happened to you, you can create a beautiful and meaningful life. You have this power within you right now. So, dear one, I invite you to take this courageous step. Stop waiting for someone to come save you. Stop blaming the past for your present. Take the wheel of your life, recognize your power, and begin using it to create the peace, joy, and love you deserve, because you deserve it, and you always have. Asterisk, asterisk, she still cries. Asterisk, asterisk, inside you exists a child. She carries all the memories, all the emotions, all the wounds from your early years of life. And often, when you feel blocked, when inner peace seems impossible, it's because this inner child is hurt and needs attention. Louise Hay taught us that many of our destructive adult patterns have roots in childhood. The beliefs we formed about ourselves when we were small continue operating in the background of our mind, influencing our choices, our relationships, our self-esteem. If you were criticized as a child, you probably criticize yourself now. If you didn't feel loved, you probably have difficulty believing you're worthy of love. Healing the inner child isn't about reliving the past or blaming your parents. It's about giving this child what she needed and didn't receive: unconditional love, acceptance, safety. According to Louise Hay, the inner child is always present, waiting for you to recognize and embrace her. Think about how you treat this part of you. When you make a mistake, are you kind and understanding, or are you harsh and critical? When you're afraid, do you comfort yourself, or do you tell yourself to be strong and stop being weak? The way you treat yourself now is often a reflection of how you were treated as a child. Consider Amanda, a woman who always felt inadequate, no matter how much she accomplished. When she began working with her inner child, she realized this feeling came from never being good enough for her parents. The child inside her was still seeking that approval. When Amanda began giving herself the love and approval she sought, everything changed. I embrace my inner child with love and compassion. She is safe with me. Healing the inner child begins with recognition. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself when you were 5 or 6 years old. See that child clearly. What is she feeling? What does she need? Now imagine that you, as the wise and loving adult you are, approach this child. You kneel beside her and embrace her. You tell her all the things she needed to hear. You are loved. You are safe. You are enough, exactly as you are. It wasn't your fault. You did nothing wrong. Louise Hay taught us that we can go back in time emotionally and give our inner child what she needed. We can become the loving parent we perhaps didn't have. This work is deeply healing and can transform your relationship with yourself in surprising ways. Another important part of healing the inner child is allowing yourself to play. Be spontaneous. Feel pure joy. When was the last time you did something just because it was fun, with no productive purpose? When was the last time you laughed until you couldn't anymore, danced without caring who was watching, marveled at something simple like a butterfly or a sunset. The inner child needs these experiences. She needs to know that life isn't just about responsibilities and obligations. According to Louise Hay, when we nurture our inner child with joyful and playful experiences, we're healing old wounds and creating new, positive memories. I allow my inner child to play and experience joy. I deserve fun and lightness. Give yourself permission to be silly, to be imperfect, to simply be. And here's something profound. When you heal your inner child, you're not just changing your own life, you're breaking generational patterns. You're becoming more conscious, more loving, more present. And if you have children or work with children, you naturally become more compassionate and understanding with them, because you understand the importance of nurturing that vulnerable and precious part. Louise Hay showed us that it's never too late to have a happy childhood. You can give yourself now what you didn't receive then. You can become your own loving mother, your own protective father. And when you do this, when you truly embrace and heal your inner child, you discover a source of peace, joy, and creativity that was always within you, just waiting to be released. So begin today. Talk to your inner child, ask what she needs, and give her all the love she deserves. Words that heal. Positive affirmations are one of the most powerful tools Louise Hay left us as her legacy. They may seem simple, even too simple for some people, but don't be fooled by the simplicity. Affirmations are like seeds of transformation that you plant in the fertile soil of your mind. With repetition, care, and intention, these seeds grow and become new beliefs, new patterns, a new reality. Louise Hay used to say that affirmations are the beginning of change. They are positive statements in the present tense that affirm something you want to be true. And here's the secret. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you repeat consistently. When you say, "I am worthy of love and respect" repeatedly, your mind begins to accept this as truth and to create experiences that reflect this belief. According to Louise Hay, the resistance you may feel when saying affirmations is a sign that you're touching old beliefs that need to be changed. If you say, "I love myself completely," and an inner voice screams, "No, you don't," that doesn't mean affirmations don't work. It means you've found a limiting belief that needs attention. Keep saying the affirmation. Keep going gently, with patience, with love. You're reprogramming years, perhaps decades, of negative conditioning. This doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Consider Lisa, a woman who struggled with low self-esteem. She began saying, "I am confident and capable" every day, even without believing it. At first, it felt fake, but she persisted. After weeks, she noticed she was behaving more confidently, taking risks that previously terrified her. I trust the process of transformation. My affirmations create my new reality. The key to effective affirmations is making them in the present, positively and personally. Instead of saying, "I won't criticize myself anymore," say, "I speak to myself with kindness and love." Instead of "I don't want to be alone," say, "I attract loving and healthy relationships into my life." Your mind responds better to positive statements than to negative. And always use "I am" or "I deserve" or "I have" present tense statements that affirm this is already true for you. Louise Hay taught us that the universe responds to what you declare about yourself. If you constantly say, "I never have enough money," the universe says, "Yes, you're right," and keeps you in that experience. But if you say, "I am prosperous and abundant," the universe conspires to make that reality. I choose words that empower and uplift me. You can use affirmations in many creative ways. Write them on sticky notes and place them on the bathroom mirror. on the refrigerator, on the car dashboard. Say them out loud while looking yourself in the eyes in the mirror. This is one of the most powerful methods Louise Hay recommended. Record them on your phone and listen while driving or before sleeping. Write them in a journal every morning. The important thing is repetition and intention. You're creating new grooves in your mind, new neural pathways. According to Louise Hay, the more you repeat an affirmation, the more natural it becomes, until one day you realize you're not just saying the words, you truly believe them. And when you believe, your life reflects that belief in miraculous ways. Create specific affirmations for the areas of your life that need healing: health, relationships, prosperity, self-esteem. And speaking of transformation, stay with me because soon we're going to do together a powerful practical exercise that will help you integrate everything you're learning. You won't want to miss this opportunity to experience change in a concrete and profound way. And here's something wonderful. Affirmations don't just change your mind, they change your energy. When you spend the day repeating "I am peace," "I am love," "I am joy," you literally become a different vibration. You radiate something different. And the people and situations you attract change. Louise Hay lived this truth and showed us that we can heal our bodies, our minds, and our lives through the power of the words we choose. So, dear one, I invite you to begin today. Choose 1 or 2 affirmations that resonate deeply with you. Write them, say them, live them, and watch how, gently, lovingly, your life begins to transform. Because you have the power to create your reality through the words you speak about yourself. And it's time to start speaking words of love, of hope, of infinite possibility. Asterisk, asterisk, the only real moment, asterisk, asterisk, the inner peace you seek isn't in the past or the future. It's here, in this present moment. Louise Hay taught us that the only moment that truly exists is now. The past is already gone and cannot be changed. The future hasn't arrived yet and is shaped by the choices you make now. However, most of us spend our entire lives living anywhere but the present. We ruminate on the past, regret old choices, worry about the future, imagine catastrophic scenarios that will probably never happen. And while we do this, we lose the only thing we truly have, this moment, this precious moment where life is actually happening. When you learn to live in the now, you discover that most of your problems simply disappear because they exist only in the past or the future, not in the present. According to Louise Hay, when we're fully present, there's no room for anxiety or depression. Anxiety comes from worrying about the future. Depression often comes from being stuck in the past. But when you're here now, simply experiencing this moment without judgment, there is peace. Think about it. In this exact moment, as you read these words, is everything okay? Are you breathing? Are you alive? Then, in this moment, you're fine. Yes, there may be challenges in your life, but in this specific moment, you're here, you're present, and that's enough. Consider David, a man who lived in constant anxiety about the future. He was always planning, worrying, trying to control outcomes. When he learned to anchor himself in the present, he discovered a peace he never imagined possible. I am fully present in this moment. I choose peace now. Living in the now doesn't mean you don't plan for the future or that you ignore lessons from the past. It means you don't allow the past or future to steal your peace in the present. You can make plans for the future while remaining anchored in the now. You can learn from the past without living in it. Louise Hay taught us that we can honor our journey while remaining present. The difference is in where you place your energy and attention. If you're constantly reliving old conversations, imagining what you could have done differently, or worrying about things that may never happen. You're wasting your precious life energy. But if you bring your attention back to this moment, to your breath, to the sensations in your body, to the beauty around you, you reclaim your power. I release the past and trust the future. My power is in the present. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to anchor yourself in the present is through breath. Your breath is always happening now. You can't breathe in the past or the future. So when you catch yourself lost in thoughts about what was or what will be, simply bring your attention to your breath. Feel the air coming in and going out. Notice how your chest rises and falls. This brings you instantly back to the now. According to Louise Hay, simple practices like this can completely transform your life experience. You can also use your senses to anchor yourself in the present. What can you see, hear, feel, smell, taste in this moment? When you connect with your senses, you connect with the now. And in the now, there's always something to be grateful for, always something beautiful to notice, always a reason to choose peace. And here's the deepest truth. The future you want to create begins with the choices you make now. Every thought you think now, every word you speak now, every action you take now, every action you take now is planting seeds for your future. Louise Hay showed us that we don't need to wait until everything is perfect to be happy. We don't need to wait until we reach some distant goal to experience peace. Peace is available now. Joy is available now. Love is available now. All you need to do is choose to be present to receive them. So, dear one, I invite you to make a radical choice. Choose to be here now. Not tomorrow, not when things get better, not when you finally achieve that thing now. This moment is all you have, and it's more than enough. When you live fully in the present, you discovered that the inner peace you were seeking was always here, patiently waiting for you to stop searching and simply be. And that's the greatest discovery of all. *** your secret meeting *** mirror exercise. Meeting your true self. Now that you've absorbed all these powerful teachings, it's time to put them into practice in a deep and transformative way. This exercise is based on the mirror work that Louise Hay considered one of the most powerful tools for healing and self-love. It may seem simple, but don't underestimate its power. Many people report that this exercise completely changed their lives. What you'll need: a mirror where you can see your face clearly, can be the bathroom mirror. 5 to 10 minutes of uninterrupted time. Willingness to be vulnerable and honest with yourself. How to do it. Step 1. Find a time when you're alone and won't be interrupted. Stand in front of the mirror and take 3 deep breaths, allowing your body to relax. Step 2. Look yourself in the eyes. Really look. Don't look away. You may feel discomfort, and that's okay. Keep looking with gentleness and curiosity, as if you were seeing a dear friend. Step 3. Say out loud, looking into your own eyes, "I love you. I really, really love you." Repeat this several times. If tears come, let them flow. If you feel resistance, acknowledge it and keep saying the words. Step 4. Now, say these affirmations, one at a time. Looking into your eyes, I approve of myself exactly as I am. I am worthy of love and respect. I forgive myself and others. I choose peace in this moment. I deserve all the good things in life. Step 5. Finish by placing your hands over your heart and saying, "Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to try. I am here for you always." Commitment. Do this exercise every day for the next 21 days. Louise Hay taught us that it takes about 21 days to begin forming a new habit. You can do it in the morning to start the day with self-love, or at night before sleeping to reconnect with yourself. Write in a journal how you feel after each session. Notice the subtle changes in how you relate to yourself and to the world. Remember, this exercise may bring deep emotions to the surface. Be gentle with yourself. You're doing courageous and important work. You're giving yourself the love you always deserve. Asterisk, asterisk, your new journey, asterisk, asterisk, dear one. You've made it this far, and that in itself is an act of self-love. You've dedicated this time to yourself, to your healing, to your peace, and that's beautiful. Now you know that the block to your inner peace isn't in external circumstances, but in internal patterns that you have the power to change. You have all the tools you need: awareness of resentment and criticism, understanding of the power of your thoughts, the practice of self, the freedom of forgiveness, responsibility for your power, healing of your inner child, the strength of affirmations, and the peace of the present moment. Louise Hay showed us the way, and now it's up to you to walk it, one gentle step at a time. Be patient with yourself, be loving, and remember, you are worthy of all the peace, all the love, and all the joy this universe has to offer. Begin today, begin now. Your heart is waiting for you.